What is going on YouTube? My name is Lucas, and today I'm going to provide you a video on a different perspective. Obviously I've been hitting heavy on the electrical vehicle market, but this time I'm going to take a viewpoint of, General Motors. Obviously they're dabbling into the EV market, but I want to evaluate and go over General Motors as a stock. Since they are getting into the electrical vehicle sector, I want to evaluate and really review their stock and see it as a whole. So if you're interested, stay tuned right after this. Before we race to the finish line, I ask that you guys smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, comment down below, and now it's time to zoom into the video. We know what General Motors is all about. It's putting out SUVs, it's putting out the pickup truck, it's putting out cars, and it's different types and models and everything like that. We know that. But there is a different side to General Motors. And obviously, as of late, they've been investing into the electrical vehicle market and the sector. They are really getting into the battery idea. They're supporting companies with their electrical vehicle batteries. And so with that being said, I wanted to really assess this stock because I wanted to see, is it worth an investment? Is it worth my money because of the old school ways and things like that? So I was really intrigued, and I wanted to provide you guys this video for that reason. So I'm going to swing over here and really start to dive in because, we know that they announced a partnership with Nikola, and a lot of people are scrutinizing, GM for doing that with all this negative limelight around Nikola. This video isn't about Nikola, it's about General Motors. So swinging over here, it says when Nikola and General Motors announced their partnership this past Tuesday, it was clear what Nikola got: manufacturing, batteries, purchasing power, and perhaps validation, until obviously that news. But GM got something even more important, and that's belief. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because what does all this do for GM? For years now, General Motors has been trying to convince investors that its suite of new technology should translate into a higher price earnings or PE ratio multiple than its current single-digit one. For example, GM owns majority stake in Cruise, an autonomous driving platform competing to deliver fully self-driving cars. So I think they are starting to dabble more into the electrical, the tech sector. They're starting to get into batteries. They're starting to get into other things that are going to translate to futuristic and, where the future is going in the automobile industry. I like to see that from GM. I really do. General Motors has been around a long time. If you really think about it, that is one of the sectors that America was built on, and that's the automobile industry. So there are probably a ton of people who have invested long term in the likes of General Motors. The same goes for a Ford. And so, and on top of that, GM pays a dividend. So I completely understand that. But as times continue to change, how do companies like GM continue to grow and continue to show that they're taking the steps to move forward? In this case, they are coming out the gate swinging. They're talking about their battery, and we'll kind of go into detail a little bit on, they don't technically manufacture their battery, but it comes from them. And, just the ability to continuously get into things that are moving in the future of the EV market. And so I really am intrigued with that. As, someone looking from the outside, I am intrigued by what GM is doing. And so I think that's important too for new investors, people who are new to the stock game. What draws them to the likes of a GM? And I think that some of these things are what is going to do that. So continuing on, it says GM has more than just a Cruise. As the Nikola announcement made clear, the upstart truck maker is bypassing its own battery and fuel cell technology in favor of GM's Ultium battery platform, citing scale and cost savings. And I do think that, set all the Nikola news aside, I think that's very impactful news, because why would Nikola choose GM over the likes of a Ford? Why would, Nikola choose them over the likes of, say, a Volkswagen, who is really, starting to get into the electrical vehicle market and really getting into the battery market? And so they chose GM for a reason. Obviously, it's going to be manufacturing costs. Like they stated, it's going to allow them to get their batteries. I think it brings a lot of experience. There's a lot of people who look probably to GM for that aspect, mentorship, experience. And so I think that it was a huge deal for Nikola to do that. And I think it's going to be bigger for GM in the long run, because it shows that they're getting into, the electrical vehicle market. This isn't the only company that GM has looked at. Obviously, they have a connection to Lordstown Motors. Obviously they sold them the plant that they're going to be manufacturing the Endurance out of. And on top of that, they're also going to supply them some parts, like seats and steering wheels and things like that. At least that's what I've heard. And so I think that GM is really starting to expand into and make an impact in the electrical vehicle market. So continuing on, it says GM doesn't make the batteries. No electrical vehicle company completely does. GM's come from LG Chem, which is located in Korea. And this is while Tesla sources its battery manufacturing technology from Panasonic, which is located in Japan, and has achieved industry-leading per-change EV range in the process. So I think that's a good comparison. Obviously, the best EV company out there. This is what we're doing, and here's the best. So that's just some thoughts. Continue into this video. It's obviously going to talk about the partnership that was, solidified with Nikola. And obviously we know what happened after all this news was announced. But like I said, this is a GM, video, and that's what I'm driving it for. So I think I want the perspective to be from the GM side and really kind of looking to the outside. So I'm going to continue reading a little bit more information. I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. It says, if the battery decision was no surprise, Nikola's decision to buy fuel cell technology from GM was a real shocker. GM doesn't talk much about its Hydrotech fuel cell platform. Hydrotech hasn't had a press release on its website since 2017. But that's what Nikola plans to use in its fuel cell powered trucks. Truck companies such as Cummins and fuel cell providers like Plug Power talk about hydrogen future, but the topic doesn't come up as much with GM investor calls. It will now, Morgan Stanley analyst Adam Jonas said. Even wondered in Wednesday's research report if GM has a stable of potential unicorns, referring to the name given to the privately held billion-dollar tech startups. Nikola shares soared 41% that day of the deal, while GM stock rose 8%. So I think right there lets you know that GM has the capabilities of a stock, to go up in the upward direction when they start releasing news like this. So we'll continue on about the stock here in a little bit. The piece of information I'm going to provide you from this article I think is going to really hit home, because I think it's starting to paint the picture for General Motors as far as where they're headed, in the electrical vehicle market. I don't feel they're going to be producing, making the trucks and slapping a GM logo on there. But I do think that they are going to be a major supplier when it comes to the electrical vehicle market, and I think that's going to be very key. So it says that strong share price reaction reflects the market's increasing confidence in the broader narrative around GM's willingness to explore the unlocking of hidden value through bold actions, Jonas wrote. But what is the business worth? Jonas, for one, believes investors could start looking at GM as an EV and trucking industry supplier. Traditional automotive suppliers trade at higher multiples than the automaker. Magna International, which is ticker symbol MGA, for instance, trades at 9 times 2021 earnings estimates, while Aptiv, APTV, and Gentex, GNTX, trade for about 23 times and 15 times respectively. An average supplier multiple would put GM stock at roughly $59, up from about $30, with a current multiple of less than 7 times. So I think this is a huge perspective because what it's doing is it allows the growth potential for the likes of a General Motors. I mean, they are going to be a potential supplier for the likes of EV companies, which makes sense, you know, having the connection with, you know, Nikola, having the connection with Lordstown, supplying those pieces of whatever they're going to supply them, and it's going to cause the stock price and the company of General Motors to go up. This piece is going to be on the analyst's thoughts, you know, where the company's headed and kind of the stock price. So I'm going to swing over here and give you that. It says there might be a better way to unlock the value of GM's technology and get it trading like a tech-heavy platform company that has products for its internal consumption as well as third-party customers. The best way to separate it from GM's legacy cars and truck business. RBC's analyst Joseph Spack took a stab at the value created by spinning out GM's tech businesses. He estimates that GM's electric battery business could be worth up to $19 a share, while Ultium could be worth up to $13 a share. At least GM with Cruise and its base car and truck business, which generates all the company's profits today. The remaining new company could trade for roughly $40 a share, $10 more than GM trades for today. Overall, in best case scenario, SPAC's valuation gets GM's investors more than $70 a share. And I think that's very reasonable, and I think that puts it into perspective, at least on where the stock could potentially be headed. Come to my favorite part of any video, and that is chart breaking down time. So let's drive over here and check out General Motors. So on Friday, they opened at $30.30. It got as high as $30.57. Its low is $29.87. Its volume, 13.30 million. Its market cap is $43.59 billion. Its 52-week high is $38.96. Its 52-week low is $14.33, and its average volume is 14.92 million. So Friday it closed at $30.46. That was up 0.96%. It finished out closing in the after hours at $30.26. That was down 0.66% to finish out the week. Now this is a 1 month chart, and it reminds me of a swing. And what I mean by that is you go up, and then you go down, and you go up, and you go down, and you go up, and you go down. And then obviously the Nikola news broke, and that's where we got the 8 to 9% run, and then it kind of settled back down. You know, I think that this company does have a lot going for them in the electrical vehicle market as a supplier, especially if they continually expand and grow that aspect. I think there's a lot for GM in the near future. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and you know, if you really are considering and diving into the electrical vehicle market in every avenue, I think General Motors would be a great opportunity. I think that by them supplying, you know, some of the key components to electrical vehicle companies, that's only going to cause General Motors stock price to go up. I do want to remind you guys, I am not a financial advisor, and anything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only. And that's what I'm here for, entertainment. And you guys know how I do it. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. It helps out tremendously. And if you enjoy the content, because I'm going to keep the content flowing, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as always, have a good day.